All right, good. So we'll take the back.
Our product is blue chip savings. That is a broader product where people can earn some interest for their savings which they have, and also like they can get fulfill their funding requirements with a very attractive low interest rates. Then the customer segment we are going to cater is retail and SME entrepreneurs, and out of that, mainly we are focusing on the.
Good morning. As you already aware that our product is FSC and HRM. So we selected as a customer segment those who have.
Where do you start in analyzing or developing and creating a product or a service? Where do you start? How do you start?
There are two ways.
Yeah.
One is if you have an understanding of what the customer needs, then you make a product to satisfy them.
Right. So here is a good one. He's saying you start understand the customer need and then you develop your product to satisfy the customer need. Okay, good.
Second is you create a need.
Okay.
For the product which you already have.
Right. The other one is you create a need. Yeah. So in both cases, it starts with the customer's need. Yes or no? Right? So you start. Now, I like what Steve Jobs said. He said also the same thing. You start with the customer experience and work back to the technology. Not the other way around. If you start the other way around, it is like our, in Sri Lanka, you go to a shoe shop, because I experienced this. Have you tried buying a shoe in our local shoe shops? Because they will give you a shoe that has a close fit, and you put it, you wear the shoe, and it's a little tight. What does the salesman tell you? Right? He is somehow trying to land that shoe on you. Why? That is because he is starting with the product and moving to the customer. I'll give you another example who do this. You see, have you all implemented ERP systems in your organization? The ERP guy comes in, gives you a system, and he tells you that you need to adopt to their system. They start with the technology and then move to the customer. According to Steve Jobs, that's not how you do it. You start with the customer. Come back and see how the technology can solve that problem. That's how you do product development. Okay, now I'm going to show you the example. So here is Steve Jobs introducing the iPhone.
Let me talk about a category of things. The most advanced phones are called smartphones, so they say. And they typically combine a phone plus some email capability, plus they say it's the internet, sort of the baby internet, into one device, and they all have these plastic little keyboards on them. And the problem is that they're not so smart and they're not so easy to use. So if you kind of make a Business School 101 graph of the smart axis and the easy to use axis, phones, regular cell phones are kind of right there. They're not so smart and they're not so easy to use. But smartphones are definitely a little smarter, but they actually are harder to use. They're really complicated. Just for the basic stuff, people have a hard time figuring out how to use them. Well, we don't want to do either one of these things. What we want to do is make a leapfrog product that is way smarter than any mobile device has ever been and super easy to use. This is what iPhone is. Okay?
You get the concept. You start with the customer experience. So at that time, in 2007, he looked at all the mobile phones that were available and they called it smartphones. He said, they call it smart, but it is so hard to use. Right? And then they say you can browse the internet, they have this baby internet with that, it's not very functional. It's so hard to use. He figured out the customer experience. He understood the customer experience. And then he said, came back to the technology and he said, let's create something that is super easy to use. So although you already have a soap, You already have a product. You still can improve on that product by putting some effort to understand the customer's pains. You start with the customer experience. Go back to the technology. Customer experience. Analyzing the customer experience, that's a skill. How do you take that skill? Well, in one word, it's a human quality. If you don't have this quality called empathy, you can never understand the customer. Innovation begins with empathy. The more you are able to empathize with the customer, the better you will understand the customer pains. The more you understand and accept those pains, instead of thinking about your own opinions, you will build a better product. You will create a better value proposition. And what happens when you have empathy? You actually get a deeper understanding about their functional and emotional needs. And the moment you understand the functional and the emotional needs, you can create insanely great products. Alright, let's say you created an insanely great product. Right? So you have a fantastic product, super offering. You think that's the end of the world? If you think that's the end of the world, that's the end of your business. You know why? When you create a great product, customers are overwhelmingly excited. Like when they saw the first iPhone. Today, if you put an iPhone 7, and if you put that first iPhone, which Steve Jobs said is an insanely great product, life in your pocket, if you keep it next to each other, which one will you buy? You know, no matter how great a product you create, that's okay. There is always room for improvement. And a good business is always seeking an opportunity to find improvement. How do you do that? You do that by analyzing the customer's headaches. We call that pains. So in your shop, there must be some headache. Right? Although it might be a great product, if you focus on the headaches, you will find. So in your blue chip savings, although you think that that's a great product, that's okay to think that way, but you must also understand that even in this great product, there are some pains. That's the design thinking mindset. If you don't innovate, somebody else will innovate. And they will overtake you, and they will kill you. Now, once you have created a gain, right, selling that is very important. Creating that value proposition. You see, an offering is a value proposition.